Hey, what's up everybody? Hope you are doing well. I'm sorry I can't be here with you guys tonight. At the time that you're watching this, I'm probably in a plane about halfway to Florida at this point to attend a conference, and so that's why I can't be here with you, but I miss you. I'm with you in spirit, and I'm excited to start our brand new series today. These days, we can Google how to do just about anything. In fact, if I sit here and I Google the words how to in my phone, the things that will show up are the things that I've asked recently, like how to leave a group text iPhone, or how to grill corn on the cob, because I've seen people do it on foil or without. Wanted to know these things. How to help, here's a good one, how to help a 9-month-old with constipation. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that you deal with when you're someone in my position who has a baby that poops all the time. And in fact, it's not a good sign when they stop pooping. And then you probably get other things like that Google is suggesting that I might want to look for, like how to vote or how to tie a tie and stuff like that. But you get the idea, right? There's tons of things that Google will suggest for you or help you to figure out. And one of the things it doesn't autofill for you is how to friend. Things like how to be a good friend, how to make friends, how to keep friends, how to change friend groups, or maybe how to lose a friend in 10 days. Growing up, I would have loved for the internet to help me with all these kinds of things, especially when it comes to all kinds of relationships, because relationships and all friendships are awesome. Who wouldn't want someone who just gets your sense of humor or shares your affinity for Taco Bell? Or who wouldn't want that friend who is there for you no matter what is going on, and you can vent to about things and they're not going to judge you? You know, friendships are good. We need them. We're wired for them. But friendships can also be very difficult and complicated and nuanced and seemingly forever changing. My friends in middle school were different from my friends in elementary school. In the first few years of high school, a lot of my friends were different from my friends in middle school, and my friends in the second half of high school were, again, different from my friends in the first. Sure, I had a few oneers or a couple friends maybe who were consistent throughout, but by and large, a lot of my friend groups changed. There were so many different dynamics to so many of those friendships, and at the same time, friendships were so important to me. I cared a lot about them. If I had my choice as to who I'd spend my time with, I would have chosen my friends every time. Still, it seems like a whole world that is just never really explained to people. I wish we had more spaces to just speak honestly about the reality of relationships in general. Somewhere where older, wiser people can just step in and say, hey, this is how to friend. Knowing how to friend is difficult. Anytime you mix two complex human beings in a close relationship, it isn't always easy to understand and maintain peace. Friendships take a lot of work, plus there are a few other things that can make it tough. Growing up, we weren't taught how to be friends. Our parents and teachers taught us how to behave, to be polite, be kind, say thank you, and work hard, mind our manners, right? But they didn't explain to us all the complexities and intricacies of what it meant to be a good friend. And maybe that's because adults struggle with it just as much as teenagers at times. We were taught to play basketball, spell, do multiplication problems, and for the most part, we weren't really taught how to navigate friendships. With that being said, our friendships are usually formed by default. Like I already mentioned, our friendships just sort of happen, right? If someone's in our class or on our team or in our neighborhood or just in general in close proximity with us and we happen to get along with them, we generally become friends, right? We don't put any more thought into it than that. And this is usually like totally normal and natural, but it certainly doesn't mean that we'll have great friendships. Why? Because friendships are hard. Think about it. When it comes to friendships, things are always changing. You move to a new school, you switch classes, or take up a new hobby, and the people in your life change. You're making new friends, which is cool, but it's tough to build and maintain close friendships with constant change. And you don't have time for everybody. Maybe you're not always sure where you stand with your friends. Maybe sometimes it feels like you're left out of text threads, or you don't get a voice in making plans, or nobody's inviting you to anything. And if you're being honest, you're not even actually sure you're in with your friends or not. Maybe expectations aren't always met. Your friends don't always do the things that you want them to do. They don't connect with you enough during the week or hang out enough on the weekends, or maybe remember the important details of your life. You feel like those things are just kinds of the things that friends should do, but you don't have any friends around you that are doing that a whole lot. Here's the point I'm trying to make here. When it comes to friendship, we all tend to focus on the things that we're not getting from the people in our lives. Here's the good news. What we're talking about today and in this series has the potential to be the game changer when it comes to the way that we approach all aspects of friendship. As old as the Bible is, it still has something to say about our relationships with other people. The Bible is divided into two sections, and most of you may know the Old Testament, and then there's the New. A basic breakdown is that the Old Testament was written before Jesus walked the earth and covers the history of God's people before that time. The New Testament consists of books that account for the time Jesus walked the earth and beyond. The first 4 books of the New Testament are called the Gospels, and they are the accounts of Jesus' life when he lived among us. And one of those Gospels is written by John, who was one of Jesus' closest disciples and who many believe was just a teenager when he followed Jesus, the same age as many of you in the room. At one point, John writes about a very serious moment in Jesus' life. It took place right before Jesus would have been arrested and sentenced to die on the cross. And while his disciples had no idea what was about to happen, Jesus knew what was approaching. With that in mind, Jesus gathered his friends together for one last meal. We call this the Last Supper. Considering what was ahead for him, Jesus could have been looking around the table at his friends and thinking, what are these guys going to do for me when all of this goes down? Are they going to prove that they're really my friends, or are they going to abandon me? But that's not what Jesus did. Instead of waiting to see how his friends would respond to him and the situation that was about to happen, Jesus decided to take the first step. And instead of being reactive, Jesus was proactive with his friends. Check it out. So he got up from the table, took off his outer robe, and wrapped a towel around his waist. He poured water into a basin. Then he began to wash the disciples' feet, drying them with the towel he had around him. That's from John chapter 13, verses 4 through 5. Now this may seem totally random, but back in the day, people walked everywhere. Sometimes they even walked on their bare feet because great shoes weren't just readily available to them like they are to us today. And there weren't sidewalks and paved roads. There was just dust, sand, dirt, and a whole lot of other things that animals leave while traveling those same roads. All that to say, feet weren't clean, like not even a little bit. They were always disgusting. And back then, washing someone's feet was customary when entering someone's home, and it was typically done by the lowest servant, or at least somebody in the lowest position in the household if they didn't have a servant around, right? So it would not have made sense for Jesus to be the one washing feet. It should have been the job of one of the lowest disciples. But Jesus was the master of flipping people's expectations, and he often did things that were countercultural or counterintuitive. And this was no different. Jesus demonstrated to his disciples what friendship actually looks like. He took the first step. He didn't wait on somebody else to do what he wanted them to do. He served them first. He did it for them as kind of a model of what he wanted them to do for other people. In fact, in a different gospel written by Luke, who was a doctor, he records Jesus as saying something that's actually pretty good advice when it comes to all relationships, but especially to friendships. He says, "Do to others as you would like them to do to you." In other words, Jesus is saying that when it comes to relationships, we need to be proactive. We need to treat our friends the way that we wish they would treat us. But let's be honest, this isn't so easy to do. This is pretty difficult. Usually we take the opposite approach. We react. We treat people the way that they treated us. We respond to how they make us feel. If someone makes us feel angry because they aren't meeting our standard of friendship, then we treat them with anger. If someone leaves us out of a group thread, then you better believe we'll leave them out of ours, right? We often respond reactively or by keeping track of all their endless wrongs that they've been doing to us and the things they haven't gotten right and how they haven't met our needs, rather than probably responding in a better way. But if we really think about it, we can agree that that's not the way we want our friendships to work. We want our friends to value us, include us, notice us, and be kind to us. We want to feel important to our real friends, and we don't want them to pay us back evenly for every mistake that we've ever made. We want them to be patient with us and to show us grace and forgiveness. Think about what Jesus said in today's terms. What if I message others the way that I would like to be messaged? What if I invite others as I would like to be invited? What if I talk to others as I would like to be talked to? What if I forgive others as I would like to be forgiven? What if I listen to others as I would like for them to listen to me? What if I post about others on social media as I'd like for them to post about me? Think about this. Jesus could have made all the friendships about him, like he was God. He was the ringleader. He had the highest status and position. He could have used his power to leverage the relationships for himself, but instead, he served. He put his friends first. He was humble, supportive, and encouraging. He was forgiving. And that's what I think we can do and take away for how we react in our own friendships. Think about it this way. Being a friend means serving your friends. We want our friends to make the first move, treat us well, and put our needs first, but we can be the kind of friend that we want to have without waiting on anyone else to make the first move. We can follow Jesus' example in our friendships and serve others right now. There are a million ways that you and I can serve our friends and put them first without having to wait for them to do it. But for the sake of today, let's talk about 3 simple ideas. 1, think about your friends. Don't just think about your needs and what they're doing or not doing for you. Think about their situation, their feelings, their worries, maybe their insecurities. This is called empathy. Try to be gracious and empathetic with them. They have moments of anxiety and fear just like you do. They get down just like you do. They have highs and lows just like you do. In fact, let's just practice this really quick. I'm going to put some stuff on the screen here, just a simple exercise on thinking about your friends. And all you have to do is fill in the blanks with a friend's name and something that's going on in their life. And don't answer out loud, right? If you can't think of friends or things that are going on with them, fill it in with people that you know. My friend blank is involved in blank. Or my friend blank really likes blank. Right? This is super simple. My friend blank is really good at blank. I think blank has been dealing with or struggling with blank. When you do that exercise, I want you to practice putting yourself in their shoes, because the more you think of those things, you think from their perspective, the more you'll be able to see and maybe be able to understand what they're going through and empathize with them. That'll help you to be able to show more grace. Just thinking about them before you think about yourself. So that's the first thing. Think about your friends. Secondly, listen to your friends. Ask questions about things that are important to them. Try to actually listen to their answers. Try to keep up with important things that are happening in their lives. If you have a terrible memory, then maybe use the Notes app on your phone and write down important things, good or bad, that are happening in the lives of your friends. Then follow up with them. Take an interest in the things that interest them. Pray for them. Actually, that's the third thing. Pray for your friends. If your friend is going through something difficult, pray for them. If things are falling apart in their family, pray for them. If they have important things coming up, pray for them. Even short, quick, simple prayers are a big deal. Then tell them that you're praying for them if you want. And if you do these things, it doesn't automatically mean that everything is just going to suddenly work out perfectly in all of your friendships all the time. Right? This won't magically fix all of your relationships. At the end of the day, a friendship is about 2 imperfect people existing in the same place. And anytime imperfect people are around each other, stuff can go wrong. But this will be so powerful for you moving forward. This is a great place for you to start when it comes to how to friend. For the rest of your life, you're going to be in friendships and relationships. So learning how to serve, make the first move, and put others first will create an incredible foundation for you to be an incredible friend from now and into the future. And at the end of the day, the only friend you can control is you. Being a friend means serving your friends. It means taking the lead to look out for them and their interests without waiting for someone to do something for you in return. Imagine if you become comfortable making the first move. Imagine if you started the group text instead of waiting on somebody else to start it. Imagine if you didn't retaliate, but instead you forgave and showed grace. Imagine if you were the kind of friend that you wanted to have. Being this kind of friend will take work, but the work is worth it. It all starts by you doing to others as you would want them to do to you. So, as you guys get ready to go to your small groups, I want you to think about this concept. I want you to start looking at the people in your small group as your friends, to think about the ways that you can serve each other and pray for each other and continue this discussion. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.